Well, I can tell this little side story that happened to me and my brother when we visit our grandma. So, like, you know, we went there, we got all checked in, they checked our temperature, we, like, went up to her room, and, like, we were hanging out in there. She was at the end of the hall, so there's only, like, one person beside her.
Mm-hmm.
But she had her own room, and it's, like, it's so weird because, like, she's, like, so pumped up with, like, pain medicine and stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of, like, just not totally lucid. But, like, when we had talked to her in the past before, she, like, seemed pretty okay.
Yeah, you were telling me, like, and you and Alex were both telling, like, she looked fine, like, a couple weeks ago when you were, like, Zoom calling her and stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But we were in the room and we were, like, trading off, like, holding hands with her and just, like, being with her, and, like, all of a sudden we just kept hearing a noise from next door, and it was, like, started off very, like, soft, but it was like, help me. I was just, like, looking at Alex, just like, oh no, we can't laugh. But, like, this is, like, I don't know what's going on. This sounds hilarious. And, like, I was just like, oh, I'm such a bad person. So, like, and it starts getting louder and louder, and I'm just, like, sitting there, like, because it was already such, like, a weird emotional state that I was in, but then just, like, that from out of nowhere, and then also me checking the hall to see if anyone was coming to help her, and no one was coming to help her, and I was like, oh no. So, like, I waited like a minute or something, because I was like, maybe she pressed her button or something, or, like, maybe someone else is gonna hear her.
And she didn't understand how the button works. It's like, no, all you gotta do is press the button. You have to scream help into the help button. We know what you need.
It's not an Alexa, sweetie.
Help me.
No, you have to say, okay, Google, help me.
Hey Siri, help me.
So it, like, got to a point where I was like, all right, so, like, this lady is in trouble and no one's helping her. So I start walking to the nurse's desk, and, like, there's a ton of people up there, and I'm like, I see someone in the hallway on the way up there, and this has happened a couple times recently. Like, I don't think people expect other people to, like, talk to them yet in public, like strangers and shit. Because it happened to me. I have another story, but I was, like, at the grocery store today. I went into the Dragon's Den, dude. I went to H Mart today.
Dude.
And I was trying to find something, and I was, like, asking a guy stocking the shelves, and I was like, hey, excuse me. And then he didn't respond, and I was like, oh, maybe, like, my voice is being muffled by the mask or something. So I was like, excuse me, louder. And he still didn't turn around. I was like, excuse me, sir. And then he, like, finally turned around. He was, like, bewildered. He was like, what? You're not 6 feet away. No, I was. But I was like, do you know where the Szechuan peppercorn is? And he's like, this is the only kind we have. And he pointed at, like, a salt and pepper grinder. And I'm like, that's all right.
Back the way you came, boy. Oh, shit, sir.
Well, no, it was like a Guatemalan dude or something. It wasn't even like a Korean. But that happened at the the nursing home too. I was, like, walking up towards the nurse station, and there was someone walking in front of me who worked there, and I was like, excuse me, and then they just didn't turn around. And then I finally get up to the nurse station, and I was like, hey, so we're down in my grandma's room, and the person next door is, like, calling for help. And I was like, did they press a button? And they're like, oh, no one pressed a button, sweetie. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you might want to check on that, I guess.
Still go there.
Yeah. So then I go back down to my grandma's room. We're sitting there, and then a nurse comes in, and she's like, oh, how are you doing? I heard you're asking for help. And I was like, no, next door. And she's like, oh, okay. So she goes next door, and, like, we still keep hearing like every once in a while, like, help me, help me. And then we hear the lady go in there and she's like, oh my God, what happened? The lady was like falling off of her bed. Like she was like holding herself up onto the bed.
Oh no.
Just being like, help me.
Oh no, dude.
Playing Floor's Hot Lava with her brittle ass bones.
Holy shit. Even the fact that she was like able to suspend herself in midair for that long.
Dude, it's crazy. And like apparently, because like the nurse came back over to be like, oh, well, I'm glad you came and told us, because she was falling out of her bed and she couldn't reach her help button. And I was like, oh my God. Like, what would happen if we weren't here?
She'd still be falling.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude, it's crazy.
That's...
And that made me be like, damn, is this like what happened to our grandma? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I think that's kind of how old people fall. And normally, like in my grandfather's situation, my father's father, he was like an alcoholic for sure. And like he fell down he would always hang out in the basement and like watch the Orioles and just like crush like a 30-pack of Budweiser. Over, yeah, maybe a 30 a night. I don't know how much he was drinking. He was big. He drank
just
so
saw
much.
The game days.
Game days, baby. Birdland. And but yeah, he drank so much his skin was like red. He was actually
Jesus.
legitimately
Yeah, like
red.
legit
Like so
alcoholic
red
skin.
that like so red that like we were kids and we were like drawing pictures of our family. I would use a red crayon to color my grandfather. And they'd be like, "Is your what is your grandfather?"
Yeah,
I'd be like,
is he a surfer or?
what's wrong? I don't know. He never leaves the basement, and he's red. I don't know how he's
Yeah.
getting sunburned down.
It's crazy because all he drinks are those blue mountains.
And so he had fallen down the steps, drunk, but also old. But he
Yeah.
wasn't like feeble. He wasn't feeble. He was like in pretty solid health, especially for somebody who had been drinking extensively
Well,
his entire life.
He's got like drinking man confidence.
Exactly. He had beer balls going down those steps.
Yeah, because I mean,
probably-
you saw how old was he?
73.
Dude, you saw Trump the other day and fucking taking that 10-degree angle ramp.
Oh shit!
Didn't you
10
see that?
I did not see that.
The one at
You're talking about
the-
10 degrees from the ground or 10 degrees from?
No, like a 10-degree angle ramp.
Oh
Like
damn!
very, very slight slope, you know?
Very slight incline. Did he make
And
it
that
up?
was the one where he was like, ding, 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 ding. He was like looking for a railing and there wasn't a railing.
Well, I imagine most of the time when you have to come.
That
to
made me
grips-
think he probably took a bad spill.
He probably, dude. When you get old, because okay, think about it. Like right now, like I notice, like I was thinking about this when I dropped off a delivery, and I'm phasing out of seasons now, so there's only so much longer I'm gonna have these delivery stories, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But for the time being, we still got them. And this guy lived on like the third floor of his apartment. I ran up the stairs, like doing like the classic, like skip the steps, like I'm in fucking third grade. Like, here's your pizza, man. Fucking sprint back down,
Ding dong
flying
ditch
off
a pizza.
ding dong ditch a guy. But I'm actually supposed to be there.
Yeah.
He's like, this isn't a good prank. I ordered this.
Yeah. Did you get the tip I left you? You're giggling.
Damn kids. Actually bringing me my pizza. But yeah, so I drop it off and then I'm like hopping down the stairs. I try to play this game where I try to run down the stairs before he knows I was there. Like, so I'm just like, oh, if he sees you, that's lava. Like,
Dude, that's
I don't,
contact.
dude, I'm like that immature that like in my mind I play these little games or like,
Yeah.
like I do that shit all the time. Like I'll be on
Oh,
a
yeah.
jog and
You
there's like
gotta
a
keep it
car.
fun.
Yeah,
You
there's like
gotta
a
keep it
car
fun.
behind me. And I'm like, I got to make it to that sign before that car gets here. Then I fucking run and then I decide like how my week's gonna be based off if I do it. I'm like, oh, I didn't make it. My week's gonna fuck it. I ruined it. I bet I'll like make little mental bets with my mind. I'm like, if you don't make it to this sign, you're gonna fail in your career. And then I just fucking do it. And then sometimes I'll lose. I'll be like, well, you fucking blew it. Well, you fucking blew it, Jim. Oh, you didn't
Damn
have
it,
to
Jim,
do that.
now's your only chance.
The devil's sitting there like, dude, you could have betted on so many other things, bro. I could have given you infinite talent. But so I play that game and I was jogging down and I remember thinking when I got out the door, I was like, That guy doesn't know what I look like. He doesn't know anything about me other than that I am definitely young, because that is not something a older man would do. You don't just hop down the stairs like you're fucking Peter Cottontail. You don't just do that. And like, I guess at a certain point in life, you stop doing that. Like maybe my grandfather didn't realize, and he was just fucking.
He was trying to fucking jump down the last 5 stairs, dude.
Do I still got it? And then
He
fucking
just
falls.
didn't stick the landing.
Yeah, and he fucking laid there, not able to get to the phone or anything for like, I think he was there for like a day, because my grandmother was on
Jesus.
vacation, and my grandmother's brother, my Uncle Tony, went over there just to check on the house because nobody had heard from my grandfather, and he found him at the bottom of the stairs, just like fucking
Dude,
just.
can you imagine that? Can you imagine being stuck like immobile? Because that happened to my old neighbor at my parents' house. Like she fell and broke her ankle or something in the driveway. I don't know the whole story, but she was in her 50s too, and she was just like stuck in there on the driveway ground for like 6 hours.
Oh my god.
And I think her husband was like, I forget if he was out or if he was just inside and he couldn't hear her. Like,
But then you tack on the added thing that he was blacked out when he did it, so he probably
Yeah.
like woke up,
dude, if you're stuck there, hungover,
no
for
water,
12 hours.
you wake up
pissing yourself, shitting yourself,
smelling like
beer
fucking.
shits, dude.
You
A
got
30 rack beer shit.
Beer
Jesus
shits?
Christ.
parched for thirst. You don't even know why you're there
Hungry.
because you were blacked out. You're like, oh my god, what did I do last night? And you wake up
I
at the
feel like
bottom
you
of this.
kind of imagine what happened.
What could possibly have happened here?
It's really fuzzy. I don't.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, my grandmother, his wife, who is still alive, who has extreme dementia at this point, is so spry. She had a fever dream, like a dementia motivated fever dream, that 2 men had broken into her house in the middle of the night, and she opened up her second floor window and jumped out of it and landed on her feet, tucked and rolled it, and ran to my neighbor's house and told him about how there's 2. And the weirdest thing is, she still remembers that. She'll like sit there with her legs like, oh my God, I can't believe I jumped out that window. And she tells a story all the time. And she tells it very like old person-y way. Like all of her caretakers are like from Africa. They're like Caribbean or something, or like from Africa or
Jamaican,
from Jamaican or something like that. And like we'll have one like that kind of like when we have like family gatherings, we'll have like the caretaker come over. They have like a set schedule where they come over to my parents' house and like watch her during the day, just to keep her in a routine. And she'll just sit there and just tell that story. These 2 black men broke into my house and blah, 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 blah. And the caretaker's just like, oh, really, Miss Rose? Wow. And I'm just like, Mom, come on, man. Why they gotta be black, though, Mom? It wasn't even real. You just imagine
It
it.
wasn't even real. The real part was you jumping out of the window and just being completely fine. Yeah, I think we talked about it on the podcast before. We were just saying she forgot her bones were old. Or her
Yeah.
bones forgot they were old.
Yeah.
It was just fine.
Yeah, but
It's a blessing and a curse.